All right, so I'm just looking at this 9571 Dorothy um, that you said that they are considering our offer. Uh, Something caught my eye on it really quick when I was looking at this sheet, and it's something we haven't talked about. When you see, so this right here is okay. This is like an antenna tower. That's totally fine. What I first thought this was one of those high voltage power lines. So if you have a house up against high voltage power lines, you really have to discount those pretty heavily. You treat it like a busy street. So you really want to find comps that are up against that high voltage power line, or you want to deduct 10% off of whatever ARV that you come up with, just because people don't want to live next to high voltage power lines because they cause cancer, right? So a lot of people stay away from them. So they are very undesirable. So, but this is not the case here. I pulled it up. So just looking at this really quick, this is actually pretty good. It's kind of backs to these water towers slash open space. This looks like an antenna tower. No big deal. All right, so if we run across high power voltage lines, they're like these giant like towers like this with huge cables hanging off of them. We really need to pay attention to that. So here, I want to talk about one other thing with this property, and maybe this is something we need to change in where's my spreadsheet? Let me pause this real fast. Came up with looks like it came up with an ARV of 510. So we might want to change this in our sheet. We'll see. I think I told you that we could start using high solds. The only problem with this high sold is that you can tell this is a much newer build. This is built in 1996. So I would tend to lean away from a new build like this. This is not a great comp to use. But what I would tend to do, what I'd be a more inclined to do, is find a couple solds in there and average these two, or if you find something really close that's close to the same age but also fixed up. I haven't dug deep into this. I'm just the first glance at this was that it's a new build versus ours was built in the 60s. And we haven't talked a lot about that, but that is something that's important. Let me take a closer look at this and give you some more feedback. All right, so just a little bit of further feedback. So these two pendings create some issues for us. So they're pretty close by. So we got our 400, you got that 510 that you use, you got that 430, you got 425. These are pendings that are very similar in square footage. Almost, well, it's identical house, really. 3.2, same exact square footage, 430. This is completely fixed up, brand new, fresh remodel, 430, 17 days on the market. So we know we're somewhere pretty close to that 430 mark. All right, and then you got this 425 that is pretty nice inside as well. So a newer remodel, I should say. So I would be inclined to be more closer to that um, 430 mark on this house. Using this 510, it's a bigger house and it's a new build, 1996, versus our house is probably built in the 60s, 55. Okay, so let's go ahead and run with the offer and see what we can do. Because the only good news is if we get it at that price, we're in the low sold area. Um, so we might be able to move it for a few bucks, but I don't know. So, but if you're gonna make any more offers on it, let's definitely drop the price to our new ARV, which would be around 430. 430 mark is where we want to be. So hopefully that helps.